Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be a little video on how I reload the 10mm automatic cartridge. This is not going to be a full-length how-to video on reloading. If you'd like to see one of those, I posted one last year titled Reloading Handgun Ammunition, and it was using 45 ACP as an example. So if you'd like a more detailed look at the steps that I take from start to finish, please reference that video, and I'll post the link in the description box below. This video is kind of a viewer request. A couple of my subscribers asked for more reloading videos, and one gentleman wanted to know more about reloading for 10mm, and I thought I'd go through some of the reloading considerations for this particular cartridge. So as you may or may not know, the 40 Smith & Wesson is derived from the 10mm case. The 10mm case that you see there on the right is the parent case of the 40 Smith & Wesson. They shoot the same diameter bullets, .400 inch bullets, but as you can see, the case capacity is greater in the 10mm, and that little bit of extra capacity allows you to put more powder in there, and of course that translates to a more powerful loading. And here's the set of dies that I use to reload, not just for the 10mm but for the 40 Smith & Wesson. This product is, like I said, it's a Lee. I really like Lee reloading dies for most of my needs. They're more than enough, especially for handgun reloads. These Lee sets can be purchased on eBay for pretty good prices, oftentimes with free shipping. This one is product number 90799, and as you see here, it is actually a 40 Smith & Wesson setup, but if you know what you're doing, you can also load 10mm, and you don't have to buy two separate die sets, one for 40 and one for 10. The only thing you have to be careful about is, since the 10mm case is longer, you have to be careful when you're going through the process, because if you use the instructions provided for the 40, you'll start buckling your 10mm cases, or actually start crushing them. So just back out the die enough so that you compensate for the longer case. I'll show you how I do that in just a second. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about projectiles, bullet choices, if you want to reload for 10mm. This is what I usually use for my 40 Smith & Wesson reloads. These are copper plated bullets. They don't have a true copper jacket. They're plated with a thin film of copper. And these happen to be from Rainier Ballistics. They're 165 grain bullets. I typically like to shoot 165s for target practice. These are the Rainier Ballistics copper plated bullets. They're actually pretty high quality, completely covered. There's no lead exposed anywhere, but this is a very thin copper jacket, and these bullets should be loaded to the specifications of like a hard or a lead cast bullet. They don't do too well if the velocity gets up there. The accuracy drops off, the copper plating starts to come off, I believe. So I just use these in 9, 40, and 45 ACP reloads. If you want to go hotter in something like the 357 SIG or 10mm, which is what this video is about, you probably want to stick to a true copper jacketed bullet. I like these bullets from Speer. This is Speer part number 4410. Just your basic 165 grain, 40 caliber total metal jacket. I believe these are the same bullets that are loaded in their factory Speer Lawman ammunition. Pretty high quality stuff. A true copper jacket, no lead exposed, and you can push these really fast without a drop in accuracy or performance. So that's what I use for 165 grain. I have some hollow points here as well. Now, Most people don't recommend that you load your own self-defense ammunition, and I would agree with that. But I needed some 180 grain bullets, and I picked these up for a pretty decent price. These are the Sierra Sportsmaster, and again, no exposed lead at the base, just there in the hollow point cavity. That's what they look like, basic jacketed hollow point, and these are pretty good as well. Okay, so I've got my resizing die ready to go. Everything's set up. It just touches the piston flush. There's no camming action needed. And let's go ahead and resize and pop out some of these primers. So, just like you would expect, primers popped out. This is top brass that I have from a bulk pack of factory ammo that I bought a couple years ago. Primer's been released, the brass is resized, and it's ready to be flared. Okay guys, this is actually something that I didn't really cover in my original video when I was doing 45 ACP. Watch what happens when I try to seat the bullet into there. It's too tight, it's not going to go. If you try to seat it down, you're either going to buckle your case or you're going to start stripping lead off the bullet. So that, in case you didn't know, that's why you have to do a separate flaring of the mouth when you're reloading for a pistol cartridge such as 10mm. Now remember, this set is technically designed for 40 Smith & Wesson, so if you follow the instructions in the manual that comes with this set of dies, you're going to be over flaring and you're going to start crushing these 10mm cases since they're longer. Here's how I do it. Yeah, so all I do is I take my resized brass, put it in the shell holder, and I make sure that this flaring die is up all the way, out of the way. Go ahead and push that piston all the way up, and then I just start screwing this down until I feel contact with the case. There it is right there. And then I just start putting more and more until I can see just the slightest amount of flaring on the mouth of the case. So that's not going to do anything. Let's go ahead and turn it in a little bit more. Still not quite there. Looks like it's just starting to, and then I just keep a bullet nearby so I can test it out. It's still not seating. See that? So I know that I need to flare this a little bit more. Let's see if that did it. And that's all you need, just enough to be able to get the bullet in there. The seating die will do the rest, of course. Alright guys, so at this point, the next thing to do would be to prime the cases. You can prime it either with a hand primer, a primer that's part of your press, whatever you prefer. You can refer to my other videos if you'd like to see how I do it. In terms of powder, there's a lot of powders that you can use. Right now, the availability and selection of smokeless powder is really bad. Hopefully things will pick up soon. Whatever you can find at this point that's safe to use in your reloading manuals. This is kind of what the finished product's going to look like. It's going to be primed, resized, flared, ready to accept a powder charge and a bullet. And then, of course, I do use the Lee factory crimp die to give it a proper crimp without over crimping, so that I don't have to worry about not chambering and, more importantly, getting a bullet set back and causing a spike in pressure. So I hope you enjoyed this little look at some of the things that I do to reload the 10mm cartridge specifically. And again, if you want more details, I'll put the links to my other 2 videos down in the description box. Hope this video was helpful for you, and have fun reloading and stay safe.